You're watching Any Given Thursday. It's Harrison Graham and Chase Sr. You can watch us live every single week here on Chat Sports, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific time. The NBA preseason is underway, so we thought we would take a look at our a little too early power rankings with the regular season just about 2 weeks away. And we'll kind of go quick early on here, Chase. Oklahoma City at number 30, Orlando at number 29. We'll kind of go 30 through 26, then we'll talk a little bit about these squads. Houston Rockets at number 28, the Detroit Pistons at number 27, and then the Cleveland Cavaliers at 26. Obviously, you look at Houston and Detroit, Chase, a lot of young talent, but still a ways to go here.
There's so much young talent on all of these teams, and that's why they rank so low in these power rankings. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander coming off that rookie max contract extension worth a little less than $200 million. I think he's a star in the making if he's not already. Can't wait to see what Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner can do with the Orlando Magic. I think the arrow is pointing up for that franchise. We'll see what happens with Markelle Fultz's health, like Cole Anthony as well. The Houston Rockets are so appealing and intriguing to me because of all the young pieces on that roster. I think Jalen Green can average 18 to 20 points per game as a rookie because he's going to be relied upon to do so. Detroit Pistons obviously have the number 1 pick in Cade Cunningham, and then the Cleveland Cavaliers have a good young nucleus of Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Evan Mobley, Isaac Okoro. That team with Jared Allen has a nice little starting 5 working.
Yeah, the reality is a lot of these teams are young, which is why we'll ask this. Who is the worst team in the NBA entering this year? Not for the future, but currently, who will have the worst record in the NBA? Go ahead and let us know down in the comments. We have OKC at 30, but certainly there will be a few teams in the mix for that worst record and potentially the best odds at getting the number 1 pick. Let's go 25 through 21 here. At number 25, we've got the Washington Wizards. Bradley Beal decided to stay. We'll see if that lasts the entire season. At number 24, the San Antonio Spurs. You can't bet against Greg Popovich, but you feel like the talent is finally starting to waver there in San Antonio. We'll see what happens. We actually put Sacramento at 23, and we can talk a little bit here about that, Chase. I just think they're more talented than the Spurs. I know Luke Walton's not Greg Popovich, but they do have more talent.
The young nucleus in Sacramento of De'Aaron Fox, Davion Mitchell, as well as Tyrese Halliburton. That's a really good young nucleus, and I'd take that nucleus and that threesome over anything that the Spurs are going to be trotting out there.
I agree. At number 22, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think they're one of these wild card teams. So are the Pelicans. We'll go ahead and flash that here as well.
The Wizards could be too, you know.
I think Minnesota and New Orleans, if the West wasn't so loaded, they've got talent on these rosters. D'Lo, Karl Anthony Towns. You've got Anthony Edwards as well in Minnesota. A lot of questions about can that threesome, figure it out and be together long term. This is a big year for that franchise. New Orleans. A lot of chatter. Zion's family wants him in a bigger market. You don't make the playoffs this year, that could signal a potential trade request after this season. So those are a couple of interesting teams to look out for, Chase. And then that's why we asked this question. Will the Pelicans make the playoffs this year? If not, that trade chatter is going to increase. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Real quick, do the Pelicans make the postseason?
If they want to keep Zion Williamson long-term with a first-year head coach in Willie Green, they better hope to make the playoffs. If not, that's 3 consecutive years with Zion that they won't, and I think that further signals that Zion could ask out at some point in the future.
Well, if you think the Pelicans are a dark horse playoff team or maybe even a title contender, you can go ahead and put your money where your mouth is with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use the promo code CHAT125. You can bet on MVP odds, NBA title odds, conference odds. I don't think you can do division odds anymore because basically there's no divisions in the NBA.
Who cares about NBA divisions?
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can bet on. Go bet on preseason games. You actually can do that. Chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code CHAT125. You put down $100, they're going to give you $125 for free. Let's get into our top 20 here. The Toronto Raptors. Hard to kind of place them in these rankings, Chase, because we just don't really know what this team's going to be.
You know what's wild is that when they selected Scotty Barnes out of Florida State at number 4, I said, I don't know what they're doing. They lost Kyle Lowry in free agency to the Miami Heat. I would have gotten his replacement in Jalen Suggs. They select Scotty Barnes, who basically does everything well except for shoot and really be a consistent offensive player. But in the NBA Summer League, and to start off the preseason against the Sixers, he was really, really impressive. I think they might have something there in Scotty Barnes, and as we know, the Raptors have done such a great job over time of developing players.
Yeah, I certainly trust that front office and talent evaluation group. At number 19, the Indiana Pacers' new head coach, Rick Carlisle. He's he does a really good job of maximizing rosters, especially ones that don't have stars. I thought some of his best work with Dallas was when they didn't really have a superstar, like pre-Luka and kind of later on in the Dirk era. So I think that's an interesting team in the East. The Charlotte Hornets do have a star, and his name's LaMelo Ball. We've got them at 18.
LaMelo Ball was terrific last year as the NBA's Rookie of the Year, and I think they've done a good job with that franchise of surrounding him with the necessary pieces and the talent to kind of maximize his skill set, but also make that team really intriguing. They made it into the NBA play-in tournament last year before falling to the Indiana Pacers, who they are right in front of 18 and 19. I think the Hornets could be pretty exciting this year, and I'm looking forward to see what LaMelo Ball can do in year 2 because he's a human highlight reel.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a chance to be the best passer in this league. I think he's already top 5 along with Luka Doncic and LeBron and a couple of these other guys. If that shot continues to improve, they've got a cornerstone in Charlotte. At number 17, Portland, I don't know what to make of this team, but when you have a top 5, top 7 player, and then another top 30-ish player, and C.J. McCollum, of course, talking about Damian Lillard before that, you at least have a chance, right?
You have to. And look, it's not like that backcourt success hasn't been there for the Blazers with C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard. They've had some regular season success. They just have failed to make it deep into the playoffs with the exception of 2019 when they made it to the Western Conference Finals. But anytime you have Dame, who is a walking cold-blooded killer and a walking bucket as soon as he crosses half court, he's one of the best scorers in the NBA, if not the best pure scorer at the guard spot. So you have to put them in the mix.
Real excited for this team, the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they could rise up this list. A lot of young talent. You got Ja Morant. They traded Jonas Valanciunas, which I didn't love.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
To be frank, but I like some of their other young talent. Of course, my boy Desmond Bane is part of that nucleus
Throw
as
up the
well.
Horned Frogs.
Hey, man, go Frogs, baby.
Yes,
Our
sir.
basketball program's not very good, but D-Bane can get buckets. The Mavs should have drafted him. But I think the Memphis Grizzlies, if Ja Morant makes an ascension into a top 10, top 15 type of player, this is a team to watch out for the next several years. Also, wild card for this team, Jaren Jackson Jr.'s health. If he's healthy, that's a game changer. Make sure you guys subscribe to us here at Chat Sports. Myself, Chase Sr. We go live every Thursday for Any Given Thursday. We talk NFL, NBA, college football. Tom Downey, Mitchell Renz do a lot of NFL coverage here on the channel as well. You see the link below. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. We'll have you guys covered throughout or all year long for all of these sports. Okay, top 15 here. Chicago Bulls. I was tempted to put them higher, Chase, but we got to see this group play a few games first.
Look, I love the starting 5, right? You have Lonzo Ball, who I think is going to be very good on this team, playing his natural point guard position. DeMar DeRozan playing the 2, Zach LaVine at the 3, Patrick Williams, who was great as a rookie last year, at the 4, and then you have Nikola Vucevic at the 5. I like the starting 5 from a scoring and offensive standpoint. I got to see what they can do defensively under Billy Donovan because they might be really bad on that end. And at some point in the playoffs, in the regular season, you have to come through with stops like the New York Knicks do.
Well, getting stops isn't really a huge problem for the Knicks, but like we saw in the playoffs, scoring was, what do? You sign Evan Fournier. You go get Kemba Walker. It's been one preseason game, but this Knicks offense looked a lot better the other night than what we saw a year ago. I'm looking for Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley to take that second-year jump. I think this Knicks team has a chance to make some real noise, maybe even win a playoff series this year. I think they're a team to watch in the Eastern Conference. Also a team that you're very high on, Chase, is the Boston Celtics.
I'm high on the Boston Celtics because every year since they've gotten into the league, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have gotten progressively better, and it's actually insane to see how much their numbers jump year in and year out, and I think that's going to continue this year. I think Jason Tatum can be a top 10 MVP candidate. I already think that Jaylen Brown is one of, if not the best two-way players in the league. He continues to get better and better, and anytime you have 2 elite wings like that, you're going to be in the mix in the East.
We didn't really know where to put the Los Angeles Clippers because we just don't know what the status of Kawhi is going to be.
That's what it hinges on.
Obviously, he's not going to be ready for a while. The question is, can he make the playoffs? So at this point in time, we can't put him in the top 10. We got him at 12. Still a really good team without Kawhi. Not a top 10 title contending type of team without him, though, so we have him at 12. And then at number 11, another team with a question mark around a star player. That's Ben Simmons, Chase. Take it away.
Yeah, well, Jason Preston for the Clippers, the point guard, the rookie out of Ohio, probably going to be lost for most of the year. That news coming down on Thursday as we record this. He broke his foot. And with the Philadelphia 76ers, like, they're talented enough to really survive for a little while in the regular season without Ben Simmons, but as far as their postseason hopes come, they're not going to be able to make a deep run unless they either have Simmons, which of course probably isn't going to happen, or if they can get an all-star or an all-star level player back for him. So that's why they're on the outside looking in of the top 10. Joel Embiid can be an MVP player. I think Tyrese Maxey is going to take a massive jump, but that roster just doesn't have enough star power to be in the top 10. Where will Ben Simmons play this season? That's one of the big questions that everybody's trying to solve throughout the NBA circle. Let us know in the comments section. Drop us a team right now. I don't know where Ben Simmons is going to go. I think a trade is going to happen. Who the hell knows when that trade is going to happen because the market for a trade for Simmons has been somewhat slow progressing. I think teams are trying to feel out what their rosters are right now in NBA training camp as well as the preseason. I think at some point this year he does get traded. Where? You let us know.
Let's get into the top 10 here. The Dallas Mavericks, potential's there. They've come up short in the playoffs. Really, their ceiling is going to come down to really mainly one thing and one thing only, and it's a two-part of this one item. Kristaps Porzingis' health and his impact. Last year, he got healthy for the playoffs, but he had no impact whatsoever. Rick Carlisle put him in the corner, and he was not a factor. That can't happen this year. He has to be a real sidekick for Luka Doncic, and if we get bubble KP for a lot of this year, this Dallas Mavericks team could make some noise. I like the additions of Sterling Brown and Reggie Bullock. At number 9, the Atlanta Hawks, who made that nice run last year, Chase. Is it repeatable? Was that a bit of a fluke and a couple of things bounced their way? Either way, we got to give him some love.
Look, when he came into the league, I said Trae Young reminds me a lot of Steph Curry, and that was the comp. And he kind of came on quickly in a way that Steph Curry did with the Golden State Warriors. Nobody foresaw that the Warriors would become what they became with Steph Curry leading the charge. I'm not saying the Hawks are going to be that, but there's so much Steph Curry in Trae Young. I think he's only going to continue to get better. That roster is loaded. And here's the deal. Cam Reddish barely played in the playoffs. He's looked really good in training camp as well as the preseason. He could help them go from very, very good to possibly an elite team.
At number 8, the Golden State Warriors. And this could be anywhere from a top 5 type of title contending team to a fringe playoff team, depending on Klay Thompson's health, when he comes back, what his impact will be. We know about Steph Curry. We know what he brings to the table. By the way, Andrew Wiggins good to go. He did reportedly get vaccinated.
Bullying works.
That's no longer an issue. But Klay Thompson's the wild card. Can he get healthy, and can he be a factor? And if not, that's going to be, probably a limitation of where this team can go. But Steph is an MVP candidate. I trust Steve Kerr as a coach. We'll see where this Warriors team can go this year. At number 7, the Denver Nuggets, Chase. No Jamal Murray at first, but yeah. I think he'll return at some point.
And when he's on the floor, he's one of the best playmakers. He's one of the best scorers at the guard spot across the entire NBA. And you match him up with the Joker, it's a really good tandem.
How about Porter getting the $200 million max?
So many people are high on him.
Dude,
and look, he's got
like
a good
him
game.
A lot.
I wouldn't give him the max.
No.
And I also have concerns about that back injury that continues to linger.
Yeah, that's a big bit of a gamble for me. At number 6, the Miami Heat, arguably the biggest winners in free agency. You get Kyle Lowry on board, a championship pedigree type of guard. You pair him with Jimmy Buckets and that young core. I like what they got going on. We get into the top 5 here. The Utah Jazz, Chase, had Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell not gotten banged up in the playoffs last year. This team might have won the whole thing. They were playing at a very high level prior to Mitchell's injury a year ago.
Donovan Mitchell is a budding superstar, and the numbers that he was putting up before that ankle injury in the regular season were stupid. Any given night, he was averaging between 25, 35 points per game, and he was doing the same in the playoffs, but clearly hobbled. They went up 2-0 against a very good Clippers team while Kawhi Leonard, was still healthy. A little bit
Koala
of a,
bear?
Yeah, we're not in Australia. Good day, mate. But no, I like the Jazz, and they were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference last year, so don't take them lightly.
Yeah, I mean, you put Phoenix right here. Again, had there not been the Mitchell injury, we could be have these guys flip-flop. I mean, it could have been the Jazz in the finals. Obviously, Chris Paul's back. That's the big story. DeAndre Ayton, you hope he takes another step along with Devin Booker as well. A sneaky signing we both liked was the addition of JaVale McGee. Then you get into the top 3, and I think these 3 slightly separate themselves from the rest of the pack. The Milwaukee Bucks, the defending champs, Giannis really kind of showed the world that he belongs in terms of the elite of the elite, a champion and a two-time MVP. If he retired today, this is a sure first ballot Hall of Famer.
There were so many questions about the postseason success that Milwaukee could have with Giannis being their number one. Well, they put all those questions to rest last year with how good they played as a team, some of the adjustments that Mike Budenholzer made along the way. Yes, if Kevin Durant's shoe size was a size shorter, maybe the Bucks don't even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they did, and then they took care of business against a very good and deep Phoenix Suns team, led by a wonderful performance from Giannis Antetokounmpo. He becomes one of the only players in NBA history alongside Michael Jordan to win multiple MVPs, an NBA championship, as well as Defensive Player of the Year. He is legit, as evidenced by his performance in Game 6. It was one of the greatest finals performances that we've ever seen, and I think that confidence, them getting that monkey off their shoulders, will then translate into more confidence this year because they don't have as much pressure on them because they got the job done. Before we get into our top two teams and our all too early NBA power rankings, let us know who you think the best team in the NBA is. Now, process of elimination, you know who's coming up in these 2 and 1 spots, but you let us know who you think is the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, so obviously, process of elimination, Lakers and Nets. We went with the Lakers at number 2 and the Nets at number 1. I will say, with this Kyrie ongoing situation, which obviously, again, this is not a political show. Kyrie can do what he wants. But the reality is, I don't know what the Nets do in this situation if he's going to be a part-time player and can't play in home games. If he's only available for half the games, I think the Lakers would be at number 1 in that scenario. But we went with Brooklyn at number 1 here, Chase. These two teams at full strength feel like the best two teams in the NBA.
They do, but there are huge issues, as you mentioned, about the Brooklyn Nets being at full strength. And when they have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, it's one of the best scoring threesomes that we've ever seen over the course of NBA history. We're just not sure if Kyrie Irving is going to be available for half of the Brooklyn Nets games because due to COVID protocols, if you're not vaccinated, you cannot play in New York City limits. That's the deal right now. So if you go from having that big three to only having a Kevin Durant and James Harden, is this team still very good? Yes. Are they still one of the best teams in the NBA? No doubt about it. But can they win an NBA championship with only KD and James Harden? I think they probably can, but it makes that team a lot less dangerous if Kyrie Irving is unable to go because you have Patty Mills as your starting point guard. And I think Cam Thomas is going to be a great rookie, but honestly, so much hinges on what Kyrie Irving decides to do.
Well, and let's be honest, vaccination status or not, Kyrie's kind of lost a lot of people's trust.
No doubt.
I mean, last year he would disappear. He wouldn't play in games. He wasn't healthy for the playoffs.
You can't count on it.
This is just kind of the cherry on top with his status completely unavailable for home games. So remind you one more time, let us know who you guys think is the best team in the NBA. We'll continue to update our power rankings throughout the NBA season.